Coffee.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series here on Thursday nights. Trying to get the race information pulled up for you here tonight, but we have qualifying underway at the 1.5 mile in Atlanta, Georgia, ready for the first week of playoff action here at Area 51 on Thursday nights. For myself, Boomer Logan, alongside Matt Wagner, will be calling the action for you guys tonight, and it is a clean reset for the top 16 in points, and we have our first battle that we will see here tonight, Matt.
Hey, how you doing, Boomer? Kind of a busy week for the both of us. Second time I've been in the booth here, which is rare. So playoff time. Um, Projections? Do you have any?
Honestly, I think there's a couple favorites, but we've seen anything can go and probably will happen with the field that we have here and how tight it can be. Because if you miss one race at all, it's going to
Oh,
be
you're done.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's these guys can't afford to lose. I know I was watching the. I didn't get a chance to watch the Sunday race. I know a few other drivers did have some troubles, but Thursday night, there's one hot driver. I mean, come on. And Richard Sanchez has pretty much been the hot driver as I've been watching for the through the leagues there. And Maxwell Caldwell, he's got himself a win during the regular season. He's considered a favorite, maybe possibility. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. I'm really excited to see how this one gets underway and plays out for the evening. Trying to work out a few things, some hiccups, trying to get some fancy playoff graphics for you guys. And
Uh, didn't
nothing.
Gael do that for you?
He did. He did help me out quite a bit. Hooked me up, but we are having some, I guess, user error issues that we're trying to work through, but
Oh,
should be
let's
able
blame
to
it on
have
Gael.
that. Yeah, should be able to have that fixed here in just a minute.
Gael's fault, 100%. Hey, Caitlin,
Hey, there we go.
good to see you. Yeah, hopefully we can keep him in here in check here. So hopefully Ryan can get himself one here tonight. I know he's due way overdue for one. I would like to see him get a win. I really would.
Definitely a lot of players in contention for the race tonight and the championships. I apologize. I promise the broadcast will get better in a moment here.
Sure. Uh, Charles Sanchez, welcome. I'm guessing you're, I, I can't remember what guy else said. Is that your brother? Are you brother to, or else it's Richard?
We've got the cars on the grid ready to go after qualifying here, and we will bring up that grid now to show you who our starter, or where our starting positions will be. It is going to be Kevin Freese grabbing the first point of the playoffs here. The bonus point for the pole for tonight's race in that number 25 machine. He's going to beat Gabe Butler by 12 thousandths of a second. Gabe will have to settle for the outside of row number 1. There's Rick Sanchez in the Chevrolet Chevrolet inside of row number 2 with Bud Steele, the number 6 of Roswell Motorsports, to the outside. Eric Laurie and Adam Kildee are going to be your third starting row for tonight, with Ryan Decker, Patrick Groover side by side in row number 4, and Carl Lingle and Ambrose Kniebel rounding out the top 10 starting positions for tonight. Everybody else electing not to take a qualifying time, which will include Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Paleschi in row number 6. And the second page of the grid that we'll have here, Seth Groover and Nick Wing, row 7. Jim Brooks, Bob Fitzgerald, row 8. Dean Wilkinson and Brandon Briggs, row 9. And shotgun on the field will be the 05 of Brian Wang. As we get ready, one car left to grid, and they have taken to that grid now. Everyone should be ready to roll off here in just a moment. Ninety laps will be the scheduled distance for tonight's race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We've seen some really good races here in the past. We've seen some go incredibly clean and green, and we've had, actually more often than not this year, issues with getting on and off of pit road, which have caused some cautions here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for this season in particular. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out tonight, if we can get
Oh,
in and out of pit road okay, or if we're going to have more
come
chaos,
on.
Matt.
Quit being Mr. Negativity. I really think these guys got their stuff together because once the admins got a hold of it, it went so nice and smooth. So I really think this is going to be turn out to be a good race.
Yeah, definitely. I know up until the third race of the season here at Atlanta, we had not actually had a successful green flag pit cycle all season long up until the
Yes, we
last
have.
race. Not until the last race. We did not have a single successful green flag pit stop cycle until the third race of the season here at Atlanta this season, and we are hoping to repeat that again tonight as we are underway. Green flag in the air for the Area 51 Xfinity Series. Kevin Freese with a push from the 5 is going to lead us into turn number 1. Gabe Butler with the help of Bud Steele in that outside lane. 2 by 2 we are throughout the field start.
I wonder when my train paint was working. There we go. I hate when that happens. I'm really digging that 30 scheme. I'm sorry. Uh, I can't keep my eye off it. It's pretty good.
Got some good schemes throughout the field here. Some new colors, same sponsor for the 5 tonight. 30 of Carl
Oh yeah.
Lingle with the Blind Squirrel Racing. Little GTA throwback font.
Yeah, like I said, I dig that.
40 of Ryan Decker still rocking the green from St. Patrick's Day. We've got a Skechers scheme for the 6 of Bud Steele this week.
Yeah,
As
interesting.
2 familiar paint schemes, the Kellogg's 25 machine and the Guinness 88. Still
Yeah, he's
leading at the front.
Yep, still hooked on the drunken lady on the side of the car.
Five shuffled out of line there, but
Oh,
back
just
in.
a little shuffle. But it's all good. It's that dog leg right in the middle. You know how those cars go right through it. It's really show. It's like when you would stick your left side tires below that, it just really upsets the car just a little bit because of the banking and it changes. But hey, you can use that during qualifying, but not during the race, as instructed by the admins here tonight. But I think they have just a little bit of courtesy. If they stick those left side tires below that line, it's okay as long as you're not passing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big difference. You see as they come around turns 3 and 4, the track width is 40 feet wide, where on the front stretch it'll widen out as you see here in the tri-oval, and it actually gets to 65 feet wide between the lines. So between the white, red, and white line and then the wall. So an extra 25 feet to play with, not to mention the apron that they have. So there's a lot of room on that front stretch, and it's really deceiving how much that front stretch actually widens out for these drivers. But it's really difficult to, kind of project where that lane is going to go, because obviously the nature of the tri-oval, you're going to kind of drift up just a little bit as you come through that and kind of apex both points of the actual tri-oval, the corners there that you see, and difficult to kind of predict where those cars are going to be going when it's a straight line, but the curve around the track is still, curved at a round corner.
Right. As I'm looking through the front of the field here, just I really see no really push come to shove. Everybody's rocking nice, easy. No one's side drafting each other really hard, and just trying to get through this early set of green flag stops, as you said, Boomer.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get to them, but you see the 88 has now dropped down in front of the 25, and the 6 getting the push from Adam Kilday. That's about as much movement as we've had so far, as pretty much everybody here 2 by 2 for about 8 rows deep or so. But not too much action. They're just kind of letting it settle out for now, which is good to see. There's a lot of urgency that we've seen at some of these races in the past, and a lot of yellows have come from that. So hopefully we can see a solid green flag race and some green flag pit stops like we did in our last trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the last time we were here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, tires were an issue here. So the race winner last time, I think it was Richard. Correct me if I'm wrong. He took 4 tires on his last stop, able to beat out Kevin Freese and Gabe Butler for the race win. So, are these guys going to be taking 2 tires or 4 tires? Or did they learn from the last race here at Atlanta?
Yeah, we'll see. I know, like you said, the 5, I believe, was our winner there. And I think we also saw the 83 of Jack Walls, if I'm remembering correctly, take 4 tires on that final pit stop.
I think you're right.
That made a huge difference for both of those guys. We saw some really good action between some of the Bootnaka drivers and the 5 of Rick Sanchez, able to dice it up in the front, but ultimately it was that traction that the 5 had with the fresher tires on all 4 corners of the vehicle to help him get that win. And we'll see who's going to get it done tonight, as we are 11 laps into this one.
Still a long way to go. I really see no really pushes by Kevin Freese up to Gabe Butler. I don't see those guys really pushing the issue at this early in the race, but push comes to shove. I stand corrected. He just gave the 88 a big shot.
And you'll see the playoff drivers highlighted in green there on your screen. They are racing for the championship here over the next 4 races. Points are all reset to an even score. As of right now, Kevin Freese has 1 bonus point, and everything will be up to how everyone finishes here tonight. But there's a couple drivers that are going to try and play spoiler. We've got the Groover brothers currently side by side, 4th and 3rd in line in the inside and outside lanes respectively. That's Patrick and Seth. Andrew Pileshi in the 82 also in the race tonight. He's going to try and play spoiler. he's still got a season on his line to try and get a win. Brandon Briggs and Brian Wang further on back. Anybody can be a contender at any point with a field that we have here tonight. So we'll see if anybody can play spoilers or if it's going to be a continuation of these. We see a lot of in the top 5, pretty much everybody there in the playoff running right now.
Well, speaking of chat, Belva, it's good to see you again. And there's 2361. You got money on Bud Steele. Well, Bud Steele is currently in the 4th position, the first car in the outside lane. But, Boomer, speaking of the outside lane, it looks like it's fallen back quite a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit there. It's a little bit more difficult after the most recent iRacing update to kind of hold that outside line, especially here at Atlanta where a tire wear makes a big difference, and who knows, maybe we could be seeing that coming into play already.
Well, I just opened my mouth and he just like gained like another row back.
Still about 3 cars back there. Oh,
yeah,
in the wall.
Just about the same.
In the wall there a little bit.
Oh, Groover almost in the wall. We were 3 wide in the back here. Hopefully he's able to clear the 94. He does clear the 94.
Gets back
a little, yeah. I do see a little bit of neck coat back there, right where Seth Groover is at.
Yeah, we saw Seth was the one that tagged the wall there, heading into turn number 1. Should be no harm, no foul. But definitely want to keep an eye on any damage that he might have, as we are strung out single file here at the front.
Well, speaking of Gruber, he ran in the IndyCar series. He actually did rather well. I'm really impressed, and hopefully I'll see him back. Hopefully Mama Gruber will let him race in the IndyCar series again.
Yeah, the IndyCar series we have here at Area 51 on Tuesday nights. Got a really good battle for their championship shaping up through the end of the season. A lot of fun to watch those guys do battle. I know there's somebody here runs in the 6 IndyCar on Tuesday nights. Maybe someone who's in the broadcast booth on Thursday nights that has a lot of fun doing it too. There, Matt.
Yeah, that's me, and I won last, and that's rare. It don't happen very often. Let's not talk about that, but let's talk about these. Let's talk about these guys here. Look at Patrick Gruber in the 54. He has worked his way up to the 4th spot now. Bud Steele has fallen back to about 9th spot. He's fallen down to the inside line, but that 54 looks like he wants to come to the front now.
Yeah, he's got the help from Andrew Palesci and the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. They're making pretty good progress up towards the front. Some big pushes from the 82 and the 94 to get that 54 up there.
Andrew's trying to push with all he's worth. He does have a teammate right behind him in the 94, and also his brother is right behind her. He's made his way back from a little trip to the wall, as you would say.
Yeah, it's a Groover Brothers sandwich with a Team Junk Food Racing Center. So yeah.
No comment.
As Patrick's going to get to the lead here. I don't think he led that last time by, but they may have a shot to do it this time by.
Yes, he actually did lead that last time by.
Wow, I'm mistaken. That's a bonus point for Patrick.
Yep, it is 0.02 of a second. Yeah, it was pretty close. And he's probably going to lead this lap as well because all the momentum has come through the top, and he actually does lead this same amount of distance to 0.01 of a second.
Not able to get ahead of the leader as they've fallen back just a little bit. We've got Seth trying to jump out almost 3 wide, but he's going to elect to stay in line for now.
For now.
Because we only got 5 cars really battling in that outside lane. The laps click off quite faster here than most of the other super speedways we visit. Drivers are battling in about 30 seconds a lap. Pace is falling off about 4 to 5/10 of a second from some of the fastest laps of the race, running a 30.70 for most of the field. Best laps for most of our drivers in the 30.20 range, so 30.20 seconds.
Yeah, we're approaching. I think pit stops here very shortly. I can't remember the last. Oh God, what was it? Was it 30, 31 laps? I don't remember. But we're maybe about 7 laps away from the pretty much the fuel window.
Yeah, especially for the likes of Gabe Butler, who have spent this whole race out front. Patrick spent a good amount of time leading that outside lane as well, so they're going to use up more fuel than anybody else as they're full throttle, with everybody somewhere between half and maybe 3/4 to 7/8 throttle being behind the lead car in the draft there, able to save a little bit more fuel.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you can see, everybody is starting to migrate toward the bottom of the track, but I see Patrick is not giving up.
Not yet.
Not yet. He's probably telling Andrew, push me, push me. Oh, looks like we have another 2 cars trying to join the top. I can't see who that is. It looks like the
18.
Is that the 18 of Brandon Briggs? That's
Yep.
the 18 of Brandon Briggs and the 48 of Ryan Decker. I think I'm getting some calls now there, Boomer. Some cars are coming down pit road.
So we'll see how the first green flag pit cycle works out tonight. Has no takers this time by, but we'll probably see some cars.
Seth. Oh, he just missed this. He missed this box. He's going to have to go all the way around. That is really going to hurt Seth there.
Or he's going to go around the cone and get back onto pit road.
I'm not sure if that's a penalty, Boomer. No, it is not a penalty.
No, the way that he did that, I don't think he's going to get a penalty for that, which is interesting. If he doesn't get a penalty here, that was a very smart move on his part.
But he's going to lose a lot of time. But speaking of stops, here they come. There's a lot of but still got a little bit of spin. I think he's going to corral that. I think he's going to save it.
Shouldn't be too bad for him, but he's going to lose a little bit of ground.
Yes.
Half the field this time.
Yep, I think nothing but Gabe Butler gave up the pit. Maxwell was still out on the track as long as them. Team Junk Food Racing is about to come in this time by. I think the 54 of Patrick Hoover is going to pit as well. Oh!
A little bit of a slide.
The 18 of Brandon Briggs. He's... Ooh!
He really gets back in front of the 55.
Get past that cone. Oh. That is really going to shuffle up this field there, Boomer.
Yeah, Ryan Decker and Jim Brooks are still out on track. And Seth Groover avoided penalty, but lost a lot of ground by having to come around the cone. So we'll see where he nets out.
Yeah, two cars stayed out was Ryan Decker and...
Oh, Jim is going to completely miss
he missed the cone.
He will get a penalty.
That will be a penalty.
Yep.
That is an unsafe pit entry. You hate to see it. Unfortunately, that is going to be a black flag for Jim Brooks.
40-second stop and hold.
Yeah, that's going to sting. 'Cause he won't get the black flag now, but he will once he exits pit road. That's pretty unfortunate for him.
So we see the second group coming out of pit road here. Is the first group actually going to be about to pass them. Kevin Freese and the 05 of Brian Wang are back to the lead as they are going to get around Patrick Groover, Andrew Pleshy, and Maxwell Caldwell. And these guys are going to pass pretty much everybody else. So they are all the way back to the lead. Patrick Groover, Andrew Pleshy, Maxwell Caldwell in the second group. Bob Fitzgerald in there as well. Nick Wing should be able to hold on to that group. Ryan Decker is a little bit further back, but he is going to have the help of Carl Engel, Gabe Butler, Ambrose Kniebel and others, as we have a bit of a jumble in the standings here. It looks like Seth Groover is not going to have a drafting partner after the time that he lost. He didn't get a penalty, but he lost a lot of time by driving backwards to get back around the commitment cone and then enter pit road the correct way, avoiding a 40-second penalty. But the time that it took him to get back around is going to be hurtful to him because he doesn't have any drafting partners. Neither does Bud Steele or Dean Wilkinson, who got caught up with other issues on this. Actually, no, Dean Wilkinson's going to be able to catch Adam Kilday, it looks like. So just Bud Steele and Seth Groover, and I think Jim Brooks without drafting partners at the moment.
Yeah, I think this was off camera, but back in the back, Maxwell had a little. Oh, he had a little moment. It just momentarily lost the car. That's pretty unfortunate for him. But he's going to lose about 2 seconds toward the leader. But if he can help Nicholas Wayne get back to the front, he'd be able to stay in the lead pack there.
Yep, so you see the 28 and the 94, about a second and a half off of our race leader. Actually, 2 seconds, sorry, off of our race leader. The pack of Carl Lingle and company are 5 seconds back, and that includes pretty much everybody in the field except for, we mentioned, Bud Steele, who has now found Jim Brooks, so has a drafting partner and a teammate. Even though Jim is 1 lap down, it definitely helps to have a teammate help push you back up there. And then Seth Groover, all by his lonesome, he is going to fall quite a ways before he gets back to any other pack, as he's entering turn 4 with Kevin Freese exiting turn 2, the next car on track behind him. Successful green flag pit cycle on or around lap 28. Some drivers were able to stretch it to 30.
Yeah.
Which were, the only two were Ryan Decker and Jim Brooks. So if they could stretch it to 30 for the rest of the race, obviously Jim now 1 lap down, but if they were able to stretch it the rest of the way, that would help them take out 1 pit stop compared to the rest of the field. But without the help, I think they're going to be by themselves, Ryan Decker and Jim Brooks, because of their track position. They may not be able to pit together to continue that strategy, so we'll have to see what kind of drafting partner Ryan Decker can get. But if he can go to lap 60, he should be able to go the rest of the distance. Now, if he doesn't have a drafting partner, he may not be able to save that much fuel, so Ryan is going to have a drafting partner to make that strategy work. But for now, everybody except for Ryan Decker and Jim Brooks will absolutely have to pit more than twice.
All right, so I'm reason to believe our top 5 runners, as you ticker you see on the left-hand side of your screen there. I'm thinking those guys took only 2 tires, but those guys, probably about 6th place on back, they probably all take 4 tires. But so far, Boomer, the 2-tire strategy is actually working this time. Yeah. But will over time, over the course of this run, do you think those 4 tires will come into play?
Yeah, we'll see. So the gap that you see from Kevin Freese back to Gabe Butler is almost exclusively based on the extra 4 to 5 seconds that it takes between getting 2 tires and getting 4 tires. We're not seeing that gap close any bit at all because Kevin Freese, who is leading the first group, and Carl Lingle, who is leading the second group, are within about 0.05 of a second of lap times of each other. So it's pretty much a stalemate at this point, which is about 10 laps into the run. But I wouldn't be surprised if that second pack starts to catch them little by little. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, for them to make up those whole 5 seconds. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it's worth it or not, but obviously Gabe Butler and Rick Sanchez, as well as Ryan Decker, knowing from the last race that we had, those 4 tires made a difference, but that is also the difference in time and track position that you see on the ticker there at about 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I did see Kevin... I did have a couple of wiggles coming off of turn number 4. It's kind of scary, but he can hold on to the vehicle there. I just don't know, Boomer. Now I'm starting to doubt myself about these guys' drivers' ability to hold on to the two tires.
Yeah, we saw them on I think it was like a 20 lap run or so to finish the last race, and it definitely made a big difference whether you took 2 or 4. But so far, the lap times suggest that honestly the 2 tires aren't a problem. That last time by, Kevin Freese runs a 30.74 to the second pack's leader of Carl Lingle 30.79. So they're still 5 hundredths of a second faster in this lead pack, and you can see that gap is actually increasing to almost 6 seconds between Kevin Freese and second
Yeah.
pack Carl Lingle.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Gabe Butler is like one of the. Well, I'm over here. No, they're not slowing catch. I hear Kevin Freeze on the radio saying they're slowly catching. No, you're not. You're slowly pulling away.
Yeah, they are actually slowly pulling. I mean, look, it gaps up to 6.26 seconds. So, and more. That last time their last lap around, Kevin Freese was about 0.3 of a second faster than Carl Lingle. And we'll see as a stripe here, a 30.56 for Kevin Freese to to actually Carl Lingle in the lead of the lead pack, second pack. He's a 30.92. So now it's really starting to make a difference where this lead pack with only 2 tires is actually quite a bit faster than that second pack. And we do see Seth Groover tucking in. He'll be the first car 1 lap down in this pack with our top 5 leaders. And that last time by Kevin Freese 0.2 faster than Carl Lingle. So the 2 tire strategy at the front of this field for the top 4. Bob Fitzgerald looks like he is fading a little bit here, or having a little bit of issues with traction, as he actually didn't take any tires. Yep. He only took fuel.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Well, you know what? I really think it's just a balance issue. So I noticed I had some of the cars come up the road, just hot tires versus cold tires. I don't know if these guys are taking lefts or rights, but I know that Axel Caldwell, I know that Nicholas Wing had a moment because he was up there momentarily, and he just lost 8 seconds. He actually fell back to the second pack because the difference between the hot and the cold tires, because he was coming down in the corner, and all of a sudden I see that car just yaw left. That might be a smart play by Bob there. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's making it work for sure. One thing of note, interesting, is that Carl Lingle took no tires as well, and he's leading that second pack. So if he doesn't have that stability in the tires that everyone behind him who took 4 tires does.
Oh, that's why they're losing all that time.
It could be, but you never know. I mean, we've seen where tires do make a big difference, and I would be willing to bet that's what we have to guess at inside of the booth here without the insider knowledge from the teams and the crews. But not sure if that is the issue for them or not. But they are about 0.4 of a second slower, 0.3 that last time by actually from our leaders Kevin Freese. So. And it's not a matter of energy from the pack, because obviously there's only 6 cars in the front here. We'll pan back to Carl here, who we see Gabe Butler getting the push there as the second lane's actually starting to form a little bit here in this second pack. But you see that there is, definitely a lot more cars in this pack than there is in the front pack. So it's not a matter of how much energy and how many cars there are there, but who knows, maybe that side-by-side action behind Gabe Butler is not allowing them to get a great run and a great draft to push forward. Not sure, though.
I think Richard must have heard you, because during that second pack, he's all right, I think I heard you. I think he's listening to the broadcast, because he's like, all right, time to go to the second lane. I think we need to get away from Carl now.
All right, Ryan Decker is going to push the 88 on through. These guys have 4 fresh tires. And we'll see what they can do at the front of this second pack, but it is still the top 5. Kevin Freese, Brian Wang, Patrick Groover, Andrew Pileshi, and Bob Fitzgerald that are in the catbird seat here.
We got a spinner in the back. A spinner in the back.
Yellow flag.
Speaking of, that's between the 5 and
Carl
the
Engel.
30 of Carl Engel there.
See if we can take it back to the moment of caution and break this one down for you. So you see the 30 is already spinning there. Take a second and rewind that for you. See if we can see how that happens.
A little bit too much a push, Boomer.
Yeah, you see the 30 is already kind of getting a little sideways through the middle of the corner here. A little more yacht out than the rest of the drivers here. And you see the 5 just trying to give a good push. And it looks like they're the only two involved. We'll see if the 94 can get clear and down, and it looks like they do. But it's going to be a decent amount of damage between the 30 and the 5 there as you see them slide down the front stretch. Carl's just kind of going for a ride. Nothing he could really do until Rick slows down enough to let them unhook and disconnect.
And we talked about the cars not taking tires, Boomer. That could have been it.
Yeah, it could have been a difference in speed for the 30 getting back onto the gas off of turn number 4, but you see there, 30 into the wall at the very end of it. A little bit of contact and damage for both him and the 5. We're going to jump back live, though, because pit stops are underway. Kevin Freese is going to lead us down pit road. And it looks like Brian Wang is going to lead us off pit road here. Looks like pretty much everybody, 4 tires and fuel. So Brian Wang is going to jump up 1 spot. Patrick Groover is going to jump up 1 spot. Kevin Freese down 2 spots. Then Andrew Pileshi. And we see Gabe Butler jumping back up into the top 5 after getting around Bob Fitzgerald. And we have got 2 sets of the field back together again. And even Belva Feltz, I believe that's fan of the 5 there, mentioned that maybe not a good push from the 5 of Rick Sanchez there, unfortunately, but trying to get through the corner, trying to get to the front, and they go around. So Carl Engel was involved, he lost a lap, it looks like getting back to pit road. So Seth Groover is going to grab the lucky dog here. He's getting the wave around here. You see him 34 seconds behind the field. A couple drivers coming back down pit road to get a little extra fuel. That is Rick Sanchez, Nick Wing, Dean Wilkinson, and Maxwell Caldwell. Putting a little bit of extra Sunoco fuel in those vehicles to try and get to the end here. We're going to have one more stop for everybody for sure, as like we said, it's about high 20s here for fuel. We saw a couple cars stretch to 30, but nobody would be able to stretch to the end distance here. So this resets the fuel mileage for everybody and the strategy as we are lights off on the pace car and about to go back to green. Bit of a short pit cycle, not enough time there to play our commercial for 4dracewear.com, but you can go to 4dracewear.com and enter the code AREA5115. That's AREA5115 for 15% off all of your sim racing apparel orders at 4dracewear.com. Appreciate Greg Forsyth and the guys over on Tuesday nights and the team that they run in the IndyCar series and all the support that they give us from 4dracewear.com for the sponsorship of our leagues here at Area 51 as we are back, green flag in the air, underway. Brian Wang leading us to the green with the inside lane. Teammate Kevin Freese behind him. Patrick Groover with the 82 of Andrew Pileshi riding the outside lane. 55 laps. Working on 55 laps now. See a very hungry pack of 19 cars trying to make their way around this 1.5-mile oval. Three teammates lined up in the inside lane. In the outside lane, it's still Patrick and the 82 of Andrew Pileshi. Second lane not able to form, but Patrick and Andrew are trying to make it work. No one else willing to go up there with them just yet. So we've got an opportunity here, Matt, where we've got
Yes.
50, or sorry, we got math is hard. We have 35 laps to go. You can't go the full distance. You have to split it somewhere. Are you going to split it in 5 laps and 30, 30 then 5, half and half? What are you thinking for strategy here?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't split the whole thing at all. I would go as long as you can, because you never know when that yellow's going to come out. You really, really don't want to get caught underneath a blanket here with the yellow, and then pretty much ending your race, pretty much going a lap down. That's like the worst thing you can do. So, like I said, running out, I'd probably pull the '08 strategy and not take any tires.
Actually, on that last pit stop, looks like everybody in the field took 4 tires. So we'll see what the gamble will be for the end here. Now, if you do run it out and you've only got about 5 laps or 10 laps left for the final stint, probably not going to matter too much for tires. Obviously, we've seen the tire wear come into play here, but with how much of the distance is left, we saw those 5 seconds that the lead pack gained over the second pack after the first green flag cycle, with the only difference being at the beginning of that, once they pit from right away, the only difference being the time that it took to get those 2 extra tires. So probably not going to be worth its weight when you try to do that here, and I wouldn't be surprised if if everybody takes no tires for the final stop.
Yeah, I really think, as I saw, drivers did have a couple of a little bit of hair raising clinch on the buttocks moments. As you'd see, the difference between the hot and the cold tires, taking 2 tires really upset the car. Like I said, I think taking no tires is the right call.
Yeah, definitely. With how few, if you had to run a full fuel cycle after, I would think that you'd probably want to at least take 2 tires, which we saw worked early on. But the fact that, like we said, it's only going to be an extra 5 or 6 laps of fuel to get to the end, it's really not going to matter too much on tires. But you'll definitely see, you see, 3 wide there's a 32 is going to squeeze in there. He's going to move Andrew Pileshi up, and it's going to reunite the Groover brothers back together again in the outside lane as they get clearing away. The 82 still stuck outside, as now the 5 of Rick Sanchez is going to fill that hole. And the 82 is
3 wide.
going to hope to get down here in front of Nick Wing, and it looks like Nick's going to let him do that.
That's very generous of him.
Very considerate indeed. Brian Wang still the point man after our restart there. A little bit of a wobble there for the 32, but he hangs on to it. A little bit of a disconnect. They're going to lose a little bit of momentum there in the outside lane.
So, as you would think here, these drivers are pushing through all this worth, but Boomer, I really, really, really like what Eric Laurie is doing here in the back. Not really pushing the issue, saving the tires toward the end of the race. I actually really, really think that's the smartest play that you can make right now. That and Ryan Decker at 82 there, they both need to sit on the bottom of the track and just kind of just chill.
Yeah, it's Ryan Decker in the 48, then the 82 of Andrew Pileshi, but they're kind of hanging out there.
We have some drivers pitting here.
Okay.
We actually have some drivers pitting here. I'm like really, really quite surprised.
Ooh, a little bit of a spin for the 88. He keeps it, though. Man, that was a little bit of contact. It looked like between the 88 and the 82 there. No, sorry, the 88 and
Eric
the
Lloyd.
85 of Adam Kildare, but yep.
It looked like Eric Lloyd was going to run right into the back of Adam Kildare there, but they managed to crowd it. So no speeding penalties, which I was actually quite surprised.
Yeah, so Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, teammates Brian Wang as well in with Adam Kildare and Ryan Decker. Looks like everybody here
Uh,
just taking
Wow,
fuel.
they're coming down. Are these guys going to come down? Don't tell me.
Yep, there they
If I
come.
was these guys, if I was Seth and Patrick Gruber, I would just sit there on the track and just go, go, go for all it's worth. But the problem is, Boomer, they don't have that all important third car. But I do have Ambrose Kniebel. If he, oh yeah, that's really going to hurt their time. So now you're watching, you can see that.
Seth and Patrick are going to come in this time by.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
Yep,
Yeah, they are.
Yep, so we saw Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Pileshi, Bud Steele, Rick Sanchez coming in there all together. Bud Steele is going to have a penalty stop and hold. Dick Wing also on pit road with a penalty, as well as Rick Sanchez with a penalty. So those three are going to be held for 40 seconds as Patrick and Seth Gruber are going to come in by themselves, leaving Ambrose Kniebel, Dean Wilkinson, and Bob Fitzgerald, your top three out on the track at the moment. You see them in the shot here with the lap car of Jim Brooks as well. Jim Brooks actually not a lap down at the moment, as he is ahead of our leader of Ambrose Kniebel. So he is the last car, on the lead lap at the moment. Carl Lingle is trying to do the same as he's going to tuck in behind his teammate there. So that's two cars that are trying to avoid going a lap down. The 04 and the 55, as well as the 08, trying to see how they can stretch this fuel run out. They can go quite a ways. So we'll see, as it looks like the 30 and the 04 are going to try to work together here to get as much track position as they can. As it cycles out, Brian Wang is just behind them. So the 05 and the 25, the 88 and the 48 are lined up. They will be presumably the top four once we get back through this whole pit cycle here, as they're going to try and find their way to the front of this pack, because any track position that they can gain, as 05 is going to push the issue through the middle
going
here.
3 wide.
Any track position that they can gain over the 04 before they pit is going to be huge, as well as
Yes,
the 55
it is.
there. And we see settling out for the moment, but the 55 is going to be the head of the 05 and the 25. So this battle is between cars who have and have not pit yet. 55 is your race leader.
Ooh.
04 third car inside lane is in second place. Bob Fitzgerald is somewhere in his fourth car inside lane. And everybody else has already pit.
It's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, so the 05, the 25, and the 88 are trying to make their way through this pack. And they're going to try and keep gaining ground on these guys before they are able to pit, which should help project them back to the lead once the final pit stop happens for the 55 this time by.
Yep, there he comes.
So it looks like him and Bob Fitzgerald are going to come this time. Slide. Almost a lockup.
Really got it. He corralled that thing. Bob got nailed for speeding. Oh.
Bob's going to get a speeding penalty. He's going to be held for 40 seconds. Ambrose Kniebel, still your leader, out on track. He's about the 8th car in line at the moment. Nobody else needs to pit other than the 04. He cannot stretch it on fuel because he has to go about 38 laps to the end here. But he's got a teammate ahead of him to try and save a little bit of fuel. And we are going to see Brian Wang leading this pack with the help of Kevin Freese and Gabe Butler. I will be really curious. I don't think the 04 is going to have the opportunity to save that much fuel. And if that's the case, then this will be the pack that leads the race towards the end. Brian Wang, Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler. Jim Brooks also has yet to pit, as well as Carl Lingle.
But you never know when that caution's come out. Like I said, Boomer.
Yeah, 16 laps to go.
When that caution comes out, it's going to change everything.
The 05, the 25, and the 88 not able to break away from this pack, but they were able to go from the back of it to the front of it to at least be ahead of the leaders. And they would not be a lap down if the caution were to come out, because Ambrose is, as we mentioned, about the 8th car in line in the 04. He is our leader. He is almost a full track ahead of almost everybody in the pack here.
Yeah.
And 2 laps ahead of those drivers who were at least were 1 lap down from penalties. That would be the 5, the 28, the 6, and the 08, as well as the 18.
Yep.
14 to go as they cross the stripe.
Championship implications, Boomer. Championship implications. The guys who got caught speeding, your playoff contenders, Nicholas Swing, Richard Sanchez, Bud Steele, Bob Fitzgerald, all in the playoffs. Dean Wilkinson, but he's only a lap down. But he's all the way back. All that time he lost staying out on track, he's lost at least about a ton of time.
Yeah, Dean Wilkinson is about 13 seconds off of our lead pack here. Ambrose Kniebel still further back in this pack, but is our leader because he has not yet pit. 13 laps to go. Ambrose last came in on lap 52 under yellow flag conditions, which means he'd have to go 38 laps to get to the end. Nobody has stretched fuel more than 30 so far.
I wish I had a camera inside that fuel tank. I want to see how much fuel that thing has left.
Not much. As we are working on lap number 78. So that's 26 laps since Ambrose last pit.
Yeah, if Richard can hurry up and unlap himself and the caution does come out, and let's see, as if Dean Wilkinson, wait a minute, I'm trying to look at the math here. So Patrick Hoover gets around him, and Ambrose pits. Richard will be the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, so
and that is going to help him tremendously and put him back in this race for the championship.
Yeah, so Dean Wilkinson has actually scored as the first car 1 lap down and has made his final pit stop. Yep. Ambrose Kniebel is at the very back of this front pack, and he has not yet pit. He's trying to save as much fuel as he can, but will likely have to come before the end of this race. Him and teammate Carl Lingle have not pit. And the 05, the 25, and the 88 are starting to create a little bit of gap at the front of this pack. And you see pretty much everybody who was a lap down from the pit cycle has now unlapped themselves to Ambrose Kniebel. So they would be on the lead lap if a yellow were to come out.
Yep.
As we mentioned, Dean Wilkinson, first car 1 lap down. He would be your lucky dog. And we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds.
Mm-hmm. Hey, comes. Don't tell me that's going to bring in a yellow. Don't tell me.
We are still rolling.
About Ambrose is on pit road.
Ambrose and Carl Lingle on pit road. A little bit of chaos, 2 turns 3 and 4. And Jim Brooks coming down to pit road himself. So this should give the lead back to Brian Wang in the 05. Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler, Andrew Pleshy, and Adam Kilday are here, lined up nose to tail. Few others, Ryan Decker, Eric Laurie, Seth Groover, and Patrick Groover should be in contention. Then it'll be about 2.5 seconds back to Maxwell Caldwell, who I believe got caught up on some of the chaos as the 04 and the 30 were coming into pit road. And then you see Dean Wilkinson, so Dean Wilkinson, the 55, and then the 5 of Rick Sanchez, with some Dean pitting late, not having a dance partner to come out with, and then obviously the 5 of Rick Sanchez will be 1 lap down when it cycles out here. Yep. With the pit road speeding penalty.
Mm-hmm. So now that puts Richard in the lucky dog. I was trying to see where Bud Steele. Okay,
so actually right
Bud
now
Steele is not far. Yeah, he's not far now. Carl Lingle.
Yep, Carl Lingle is your lucky dog at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Not anymore.
There you go. So Rick Sanchez just passed the 30 of Carl Lingle, so he will be your lucky dog. 7 laps to go. The 05, the 25, and the 88 have taken over the lead. The 82 of Andrew Pileshi, the 85 of Adam Kilday, and the 48 of Ryan Decker, Eric Laurie, all lined up behind them. Further on back is Patrick and Seth Groover, and that is everybody that is currently within striking distance. 28 of Nick Wing in this pack, but he is 1 lap down. You see a little bit of a blink and a blink for a moment there for quite a while for the 82 of Andrew Pileshi, but it settles out and he's back on the racetrack.
Well,
6 laps to go. Nick Wing up into the wall. Able to collect it.
well, Caitlin, your man is the first car up to the top, but nobody wants to go with him. You start
Not
yelling and
yet.
screaming in the chat. Tell him to
Yep, there's
come
Seth.
on, let's go.
There's
Yeah,
Seth
I
Groover.
agree. No one's really pushing anything there, Boomer. Everybody's still saying single file, but I'm watching the 48 car. He wants to go to the outside, but it looks like Seth is going to go to the outside, and Ryan Deckers are going to try and push each other to going forward.
So nobody here took tires on this final pit cycle. And it's definitely getting to a yellow
God, we got a
flag.
yellow. That changes
An issue
everything.
for Bud Steele. As you see him
Wow.
up in the wall in the backstretch. No idea what happened here. We'll try and see if we can take it back. As you see Bud in the 30 of Carl Lingle get into an incident.
Ooh.
And Bud is sent up into the outside wall.
Wow. That's interesting. Boomer, I really can't tell if that's more like a racing deal to me.
Yeah, it could be a racing deal. Looked like the 6 was getting a little bit tight off the corner.
Yeah.
The 30 was there and just couldn't give him the space that usually Bud is known to give, and unfortunately a little bit of contact for both of them. And that will bring out the yellow flag. We will see who does what, but Brian Wayne, Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler, Andrew Plesh, and Andrew Kilday are going to be your top 5. The lucky dog goes to Rick Sanchez, which could be huge, but there is only going to be 3 to go.
I bet he comes in here with a nice 4 fresh tires and just sends it for all it's worth. That's what I'd be doing.
All right, while we have the opportunity, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back for the finish of the first playoff race here on Thursday nights.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Re-racked and stacked. Green, white, checkered on the line for the first playoff race of 2024. Brian Wang, the inside line. The 25 of Kevin Freese in the outside line. Pretty much everybody in the top 5 except for Brian Wang competing for the championship here. Green flag underway.
Green, white, checkered.
If we get back to the white flag, no yellow flag will be thrown. If we have a yellow before we get to the white, there will be another attempt at a green-white checkered. We are single file inside lane. Nobody with a run at the moment. The 05, the 88, and the 25 lined up nose to tail. The 82 trying to get the side draft to work. Now to the outside of the 25. Adam Kilday going to go up and push the 82. Try to make something happen in the high lane. We are going to get the white flag this time by. Brian Wang going to try and lead us back around to the checkered flag. The 82 getting a great push from the 85 in the outside lane. Is it going to be enough? Are they going to be able to get there before the start-finish line as we head down the backstretch for the final time? No. 82 jumps back to the inside lane. Not enough momentum. The teammates lined up 1, 2, 3 are going to come off a turn 4. And they are going to win the first playoff race of 2024.
Boomer, that was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Eric Laurie getting the 4th place. And would you know, like we said earlier, who could play the spoiler? Brian Wang, not in the playoffs, grabs the victory here tonight.
They make it look so easy.
They pit first out of anybody, and a big celebration on the front stretch for the 05 of Brian Wang. They pit first under the final green flag pit cycle. Trying to get some traction through the grass back onto the pavement for the 05. And they took control of this race after that green flag pit cycle and never looked back, as it looks like they're all going to burn it down on the front straightaway here. At least Eric Laurie and Brian Wang, our teammates. The 1, 2, 3, 4 sweep for Team Bootnaka Esports. A little bit of love tap for the wall there from the 05. So we are going to be ready in just a moment here. You see the unofficial results at the side of your screen. We'll get to the rest of those and dissect those later, but we've got a few interviews to make. Starting with 3rd place, driver of the number 25. That is Kevin Freese. And we will bring him up into the broadcast booth. The 25 of Kevin Freese. He had a pretty solid start tonight, grabbing the pole. You guys were able to get to the lead and control the race at multiple times, but most importantly during the last green flag pit cycle, and pretty much never looked back. What did that look like from your vantage point tonight there, Kevin?
That was, I love this racetrack. I did a different strategy from what I've done the whole season. I decided to go out there and qualify for once and just try to stay up front, avoid any potential mess that I could get involved in. So it was a lot of fun. We had some green flag pit stops. Those are always an absolute blast here because you're sometimes just dead sideways trying to get it slowed down for pit road. So it could be a lot of fun, especially when you're running with Gabe, Eric, and Brian, who showed up tonight. It was it's always fun to go, especially when you can score that 1, 2, 3, 4 there.
Yeah, definitely very impressive from the team aspect tonight for you guys. So you said you obviously varied from your strategy just a little bit there by electing to qualify at the beginning. It also seemed like you guys elected to have a little bit of a different strategy, at least I believe it was you and Brian Wang. The first green flag pit cycle, you guys took only 2 tires, where we saw Gabe and others take 4 tires, and that 5-second difference or so on pit road. Kind of was what the difference was between the first pack and the second pack. What was the call there? What was I know we saw tire wear and having tires at the end of the last race here being very important, but what was the call there for the justification of the 2-tire strategy?
Yeah, I just enjoyed driving this thing on 2 tires. It handles like absolute crap, and it's to me to me a lot of fun. Just the way it's unpredictable. It could get sketchy, but I just enjoy it, and I personally enjoy a car that turns too much than one that you have to be allowing. And when as long as it's on the 2 tires, it gets more comfortable as the run goes on. But at the beginning of the run, you have to really watch yourself the way you're entering the corner, because if you put too much wheel in and load it all up at once, you're just you're along for the ride. So, but luckily we were able to avoid all that. Just go out there and have a solid run.
Yeah, definitely. I too much prefer a loose race car than a tight race car, so I can understand where the fun is there. And yeah, it seems like Gabe or not Gabe, sorry, Matt and I in the booth were kind of debating when to pit, and we kind of both thought that it'd be better to try and stay out as long as we can if a caution were to come out, because we've seen. Honestly, up until the last race that we had at Atlanta, the last race had the first successful green flag pit cycle we had all season long. But you guys elected to pit early, not even breaking it in half. I think you came in pretty much as soon as the fuel window opened. Was there any concern with a yellow coming out in between that pit cycle and making you guys take a wave around, or were you kind of set on fuel and tires you thought for the rest of the way that it didn't matter?
We were actually way more focused on just getting off pit road nice and easy, with the tires being a little fresher, not having to worry about potential like really bad lockup from the tire being overheated and all of that. So we just wanted to be able to maximize our time and be super aggressive. So luckily it worked out. We came out, I think, in the middle of that lead pack, which I mean it got a little tight, but that was those are all the fun things that you normally get to experience at a 1.5 miles, and we're fortunate enough to be able to run this track and just to change stuff up a little bit, because it puts a lot more, I think, drivers' hands as compared to like your Talladega, your Daytona, and all that. So it's just a ton of fun.
Yeah, definitely. It was it was quite eventful watching you guys kind of slice and dice through the pack there, trying to get back on the lead lap with the 04 staying out long there. But yeah, great opportunity for you guys tonight. Want to give you that red carpet now to give any thanks or shout outs for the team 1, 2, 3, 4 finish tonight.
Yeah, huge thanks to you for putting on the broadcast for us tonight. Thanks to all the drivers out there, the admins who work pretty hard to keep trying to improve this league every chance they have. And yeah, thanks to the teammates, and I hope that we can keep carrying the momentum through the playoffs.
Definitely a great start for you, Kevin, through the beginning of the playoffs. I know you mentioned a couple weeks ago that it was going to take consistency, and so far a pretty solid finish, and we'll see if you can keep it up for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, nice step in the right direction. Thank you, and I hope everybody enjoys their night.
Yeah, thanks. We'll talk to you soon, Kevin.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next is teammate Gabe Butler. Bringing him up into the broadcast booth, driver of the 88. We talked to your teammate already, so he's kind of gotten through some of the strategy that you guys had, but obviously you and Kevin found each other at different parts of the race, but different spots at different parts, and came back together at the end and had a pretty solid final green flag pit stop cycle, and looks like you guys were able to come through okay, but I want you to tell us how it looked from the vantage point behind the driver's seat there.
I made pretty good result in the end. The initial green flag pit stop, they kind of broke away from us. Myself and a number of others took 4 tires, and I thought we'd catch them pretty easy, but we didn't. We were catching them there for a while. They had taken 2 tires, but then they started to equalize the time, and as a matter of fact, they were going a little bit faster, so that caution saved the group that took 4 tires, and so from then on we just kind of stayed in line and figured that for the last stop, we knew we were going to be short, and decided to short pit and no tires, and it got us up front. But then that last caution came out, but we were all lined up, so it worked out really well for us. So we all got 1, 2, 3, 4 on boot knocker tonight. Pretty good.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity for the team for sure. But we talked to Kevin. We asked him why he took 2 over you guys taking 4 further back, and he mentioned that he liked the balance of the car a little bit better with 2 tires versus 4. But I would assume that your decision to take 4 was kind of based off what we've seen here in the past, where 4 tires on a long run really made a huge difference, and those who took 2 tires were just not able to hang on for long enough. But for whatever reason, 2 tires seemed to hold on pretty well for Kevin and some of those guys who took it up in the front pack there.
Yeah, and I mean they probably did a better job saving their tires initially. And if you do that, it'll definitely work out. Where I that first run I seemed to be really flat-footing it most of the time. I was out front a lot and really didn't have a chance to lift and roll out of the corners like I would have. But so I felt my better option was 4. Based on past experience. I had a fit the last time we were here in the B car. I was really fighting it. So I told Kevin I didn't want to go through that again.
Yeah, I think we saw you drift coming out of turn 3 and 4 out for the pit cycle for pretty much the whole corner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Through 3 and
that's what
4.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, it seemed like it worked out in the end. Obviously, the yellow flag kind of saving everybody and allowing that strategy to reset. But Kevin was mentioning, I know, obviously, you guys kind of had similar strategy with where you guys are at in the teammate, in the team room talking together and chatting together. But you guys made that call to pit early, and it seemed like that was kind of really what was the turning point for you guys to really take command of the race and never look back.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had a really good stop, and I think the rest of the field kind of got split up. They weren't close together coming out of the pits, and so we were able to get up there. And I think there's some guys trying to make it there to the end, but we kind of knew they didn't have enough fuel to get to the end. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty solid team effort as it usually is for you guys here. So give you that opportunity now to roll out that red carpet for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give tonight, Gabe.
Yeah, just shout out to the boot knocker guys there. It was a blast. Congratulations to Brian on the win, and good podium there for Kevin and Eric coming in P4 for us. So it was a great effort all around. And of course, Area 51 and the admins for putting on this league. And of course, yourself, Boomer, and Matt up there in the booth always do a fantastic job, guys. Look forward to watching it later on.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Gabe. And I know last time we talked to you guys, both you and Kevin kind of mentioned that it's going to be consistency and just having good finishes. But you've got one in the books so far in the playoffs, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
I appreciate it, gentlemen.
Alrighty, that was Gabe Butler in the 88, and we've got one more teammate of his to interview, and that would be the 05 of Brian Wang. Brian, you've showed up to now 4 races. Obviously, most of your teammates are competing in the playoffs here for a championship, but obviously unable to make every race, and understandable that that's not always feasible. But I mean, you've got to. I want to hear from your vantage point. Like, what would you consider to be a successful season, and would you consider that to be one so far? With the 4 starts, you've got obviously 1 win, so 25% win percentage. You've got a 50% top 5 percentage and 100% top 10 percentage so far this season. So with the win, does that make this a successful season for you to be able to only come out on a few nights and have some fun and get to do this?
To be honest, I don't think I consider it that successful relative to one of the other seasons I've had in Area 51 in the Truck Series. That was a couple years ago, I think. I was part-time as well in that season. I think I got like 7 out of 8, 8 starts and 7 top 5s. So yeah, I'm definitely measuring my seasons all against that one, but I don't think that season will be beatable, to be honest. And yeah, so honestly, yeah, it's a decently successful season, I'd say, relative to uh, the obviously more recent seasons I've had.
Understandable. Obviously, that's quite a feat there for 7 out of 8 races, but still great to see you guys, team work together and you able to come out here. I assume it's got to be pretty fun playing spoiler to the playoff guys. We mentioned at the beginning of the race that there weren't too many in the field that could do that, but obviously you taking that advantage and spoiling it for the rest of the playoff guys definitely has to be a decent feeling to come in and beat those guys while they're competing for a championship.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really fun race, and yeah, really fun racing with my teammates and everyone else in the league.
So we talked to obviously Kevin and Gabe now, and they kind of talked us through most of the strategy. But from your vantage point, want to hear your thoughts as well. Obviously, we saw you guys kind of get split up. Gabe electing to take 4 tires and Kevin electing to take 2, and I think you were in the group that took 2 up at the front there. So for the most part, you and Kevin seem to be able to take control of this race for most of the way through. Obviously, assuming for him, Kevin saying that was his strategy was to try and be up front, but it seemed like you guys were kind of able to get up to the front and really, you and Kevin for sure able to kind of control most of it from there.
Yeah, for sure. At that point, my strategy was just to follow Kevin and do whatever he did. And yeah, so obviously we took 2 tires at the first pit stop, and yeah, it felt a little bit loose, but honestly, I think it feels way better than how 4 tires were old tires feels with getting tight in the corners.
Okay, so Kevin kind of said the same thing. Gabe said that the exact opposite, that he didn't like that feeling, but sounds like you and Kevin don't mind driving it more off the right rear than off of the right front as far as having a loose race car then?
Yeah, because from my perspective, when it gets loose on 2 tires, it's pretty easy to catch. But when you're on old 4 tires and it gets tight during the corner, you gotta lift and lift, or you can put more wheel into it, which burns the right front up even more. And yeah, by lifting, you also lose a ton of speed. So that's why I prefer the 2 tires.
Well, it definitely worked out for you and Kevin, and obviously getting out front and staying out there for most of the race. We saw you guys battle through the middle of the pack as you were coming around some of the guys who had not yet pit yet. That looked like that was kind of fun to slice and dice your way through the pack in the middle there.
Yeah, that was a nice moment of action in the middle of the race where we were pretty much all single file except for that those few laps.
Yeah, we saw you guys force 3 wide. I think at least once, maybe twice, but it was definitely probably some of the more exciting track position portions to watch for tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely really fun. But yeah, the whole race overall was really fun, to be honest.
Yeah, well, good deal, Brian. Well, want to give you that opportunity to roll out that red carpet for you for any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that win, your first on the season.
Yeah, thanks to Green White Checker TV, you guys, for broadcasting the race. Everyone at Area 51, and thanks to Gabe, Kevin, and Eric.
Good deal. Well, congratulations again, Brian, and hope to see you back on track again soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we have a little bit to unpack there for that race. Definitely a lot of fun that we had with a lot of action towards the middle portions, but we saw a lot of the guys coming through the field and different pit strategies, and
Yep.
as we saw a lot of control of the race from the 05 and the 25, and re-racked and stacked, and they had a pretty solid green flag pit cycle, and that seemed to be what took us through to the end there, Matt.
Yeah, it was like I said, it's a race of attrition. This track here it's its own animal. It's the guys worked out to perfection. Some guys had some bad days, some playoff implications. Rick did manage to get his lap back, but unfortunately was able to move up 2 spots and finishing in 13th. That's really going to hurt his chances, but we got a long way to go here, Boomer. But tonight, it's all about Brian Wang and being the upset victory, pretty much,
Yeah,
over the playoff guys.
Yeah, that spoiler that we talked about for Brian Wang, able to grab the win, and still a very solid night for a lot of guys in the playoffs. Obviously, in the race results, we see Gabe Butler there, Kevin Freese, Eric Laurie, Andrew Pleshy, all fighting for a championship in the top 5 of the standings tonight. Seth Groover playing spoiler to some of the guys in the playoffs there. He's going to have a pretty solid finish in 6th place. Adam Kilday, Dean Wilkinson, Ryan Decker, and Patrick Groover rounding out the top 10. Ambrose Knievel tried to make that long pit cycle strategy work out, but unfortunately it's not going to. About 0.8 of a second off of our lead pack with Maxwell Caldwell in tow just behind him. We saw Rick Sanchez. He's the first car, or actually the last car on the lead lap. He's able to get the lucky dog, but unable to move forward from there, so it'll be 13th for him tonight. Carl Lingle, Nick Wing, Bob Fitzgerald, some of the guys who had some issues throughout the night. Obviously, Carl involved in a couple incidents there, unfortunately. We saw some issues for Nick Wing and Bob Fitzgerald, Bud Steele. Bud Steele being in the last wreck as well, but a lot of those guys with pit road penalties, as well as Brandon Briggs. And then our last finisher of the night, Jim Brooks as well, who retired 12 laps early. But yeah, lots of action tonight. We're going to get a chance to actually update the standings here at the end of this one as we'll pull it up here. You see that's going to put Kevin Freese at the top of the leaderboard, just 1 point ahead of Gabe Butler. So Kevin finishing 1 spot behind Gabe, but with the bonus points that Kevin had throughout the race, he is going to get that top spot. Gabe Butler 1 point behind in second. Eric Laurie is going to be 4 points behind. Then Adam Kilday and Andrew Pleshy are going to be 7 points behind, and so on and so forth there. A couple guys not able to come out tonight. We've seen a couple guys also electing to waive their eligibility for the playoffs to give that opportunity for 16 drivers to try and make it out tonight. Obviously, one of those not able to, but we had we had 15 of the 16 able to make it out tonight to try and contend for that championship. And we've seen a few drivers got marked back in the middle of the pack. You know, we saw the pit road speeding penalties for a lot of drivers, and coming into tonight, we would have maybe considered Rick Sanchez one of the favorites, or at least one of the front runners for the championship, but having a tough night for himself there, finishing back in a 13th place and finds himself in 10th in points at the moment. So got a bit of a hole, but still plenty of races to be able to climb out of it. But as we see there, the top 3 in the point standings finishing second, third, and fourth on tonight's race are the Team Boonaki Esports drivers, and they've got a pretty healthy lead heading into the second race of the playoffs, Matt.
Yeah, we got a long way to go, Boomer. It's man, next race. Where are we at next race there, Boomer?
That is a great question, and I will let you know once I am able to scroll and find it. It's Daytona. Yeah, okay, so I wasn't sure if it was Tasmania or Daytona,
yep.
but all right, so next week we'll be back with Daytona International Speedway. Then 2 weeks we will be at iRacing Super Speedway, and we will complete the first season of 2024 with Talladega on April 18th. So that is 4 straight weeks of playoff action here for you, starting with this week in the win from non-playoff driver Brian Wang, playing spoiler to the rest of the field. Don't forget, we've got lots of action on our other nights. Obviously, Tuesday, the IndyCar Series. They do not run a playoff, but there's still a lot of great action going on in the IndyCar Series on Tuesday nights here at Area 51. And the Sunday night Truck Series, they run the super speedways as well, and they have got a playoff battle just like the one you see here on Thursday nights with different vehicles and some familiar names and some different names as well, but lots to watch here on Area 51. On Green White Checkered TV all week long, as the 3 series will keep us busy here as we get to the later stages of the end of 2024 Season 1. But yeah, I think unless you have any final thoughts, Matt, I think we're good to sign it off here and wait to see how this unfolds for the playoffs.
Well, my final thoughts are that Team Boondoggers is going to be the team to beat. That's just it. But as I saw during the season, Rick Sanchez was able to fight off that team boot knocker. But like I said, he if he's going to be the guy to dethrone Gabe Butler and company, he's going to be the dude. But there's one race on that calendar that kind of intrigues me. It's that iRacing Super Speedway. I really think that race is going to be a big factor and throw a wrench in everybody's playoff chances.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how it unfolds here at Area 51 and Green White Checker TV, but you'll have to watch and tune in next week, the next 3 weeks, to see who we crown as our champion. So for myself, Boomer Logan, and my partner, Matt Wagner, all the crew here at Green White Checker TV, and all of the leagues here in series at Area 51, we thank you all and want to wish you a safe night, a very happy holiday weekend this weekend, and we'll see you back next Thursday.